Here's what's coming into view on Elevating Denver for April 2024. Meet the residents under House 1000.
Now I'm encouraged. I want to go out. I want to get that job.
Take a bite out of Como Food Incubator in Arkins Park.
I think that it's magical what we're doing for people.
Learn how grants made a difference in the field of EV repair.
We need to be prepared to take care of our customers.
These stories and more are just ahead on Elevating Denver.
Because we're celebrating Food Waste Prevention Week that takes place the first week of April nationwide. We're very excited to partner with this brewery to brew a beer that uses surplus bread and draws attention to the issue and the fact that if there's surplus, we can reuse it and make an awesome product out of it.
We were reached out to by someone in the City of Denver's Sustainability Office who was looking to pair different businesses that make food in order to spur some creative partnerships and eliminate food waste. As a bakery, we're always really conscious about producing only really what we need and eliminating as much waste as we can. And so when we were reached out to do an actual strategic collaboration to not just give away the leftover food, but even turn it into something new and better and give our products a second life, we were really excited to participate.
The bakery had it all ready to go. I just said I'll be over at 7. They had it in bins. I picked them up, threw it in the back of the Jeep, drove through the 1.5 snow to get back to the brewery. We added it at the end of the first hour of the mash. The added complexity from rye bread, sourdough, whole wheat, just in smelling the mash, you could tell the difference, the flavors that we were going to get. In tasting the final results, it was definitely a positive process.
Out of this partnership, we're really hoping that more breweries and more bakeries are gonna, come together and brew beers that are made with surplus bread. I think that's a fantastic idea, and I hope it will also inspire others to seek alternative ways to obtain extra sources of food for food production. %40 of food in the US is wasted every year. It's really important to draw attention to this issue and the fact that there is so much we can do to reduce the amount of edible, wholesome food that goes to waste. And although we're having this event in a brewery and the fact that there's surplus bread in food production, it also very much happens in people's home.
Well, it's great that the City of Denver is actively coordinating and sponsoring these partnerships, because as a business owner, this can be a small detail that just gets lost and something that we forget to do or put intention into. And so we're always happy and really excited to find creative ways to make better use of our potential food waste. But having the support of the city makes it that much more likely to happen.
It's a really simple way that we can reduce our impact on the planet. Food waste going into a landfill is just going to decompose and crank out tons and tons of methane. To be able to reduce all of that food waste and make it into a positive product that we can share with people and get it into the food stream so that it's getting reused again. I mean, once it's done here, it's going off to the ranch and it's going to feed the livestock. So, I mean, there's no negative there.
Keep moving on back into where all of the fun stuff happens. So we house 14 bays plus an alignment rack, making it 15 service bays that you can work out of. This is where we house our 2 reflash machines, our 3 scan tools, plus our laptop for all of our EV stuff as well that we're doing. No matter what vehicle a customer brings to me, I can take care of them. Keep it cut, keep it cut, keep it cut. Straighten out a little bit, straighten out, straighten out.
Today, Pro Auto Care and Drive Clean Colorado came together to celebrate their recipients of the Green Workforce Mini Grant that they received in 2023 to kickstart a training program for independent auto shop mechanics to become safety certified and versed in maintaining our EV market, aftermarket vehicles, and they were awarded this money because we are in dire need of getting our technicians skilled up and ready for this transition.
With that workforce grant that was offered up to us, allowed us to send myself as well as 3 of my top guys to training in California to receive that next level of EV training to better ourselves in taking care of our customers.
Our Green Workforce Mini Grants are essentially to build like the foundation of workforce programming within the green sector. So that's building electrification, e-mobility, zero-emission vehicle. We're also looking at natural resource pathways and renewable energy. So we have a variety of programs. At the moment, we have about 7 vendors, including Drive Clean Colorado, that have taken advantage of these mini grants, and they're putting building blocks together to either build credential programs, either train the trainer, send their technicians to be skilled up into these greener curriculums, you name it. We really want to be able to offer a suite of options so our green workforce is ready to meet the clean energy transition.
For the automotive industry, it's coming, and we need to be prepared to take care of our customers. So we got the laptop right here. We've got the connection cables for the different vehicles right here as well to try to make sure we can take care of them as well. The training that took place in California, which was near the end of November of last year, 2023, was a 4-day curriculum. We messed around with a Chevy Bolt and a Chevy Volt, as well as a Toyota Prius. We started tearing into the batteries, also started doing milliohm testing as well as installation testing, and started finding all the information that we needed to be able to service these vehicles. Also went into the different components inside of the cooling systems as well as the actual computer side of the things, learned how to disconnect the service ports and make sure that the batteries were taken down to a level of safety to be able to work on them.
We know we have workforce shortages across almost every industry, frankly, but specifically in the green economy, we have significant gaps in terms of understanding and adoption with our green workforce. And so we're taking the initiative to put funding out into our community to ensure that we're putting quality credentials, industry recognized standards, and then attaching it to opportunities of employment and scalable career pathways, specifically for our communities that are underserved and underrepresented.
Adapting innovation is something that it's always come natural. Being offered this grant and being able to be a part of this workforce and set that path and set the stage just allowed us to do what we do best and what comes naturally. Be the tip of the spear, be the light for everybody else behind us, and show the path and show the way.
Denver has a problem, not what you might imagine as you drive or walk the streets. This problem is much deeper than that.
It's not a homeless problem, it's a hopeless problem. And that's what it's all about. When the homeless feel forgotten, they feel hopeless.
Where are you staying right now?
As Mile High City residents consider the long history of homelessness in Denver, a fix for this challenge often seemed impossible. But last July, newly elected Mayor Mike Johnston declared a state of emergency with a goal to house 1,000 people by the end of 2023.
And I think that's what we were most excited about, was showing the city, even these problems that feel the hardest, the ones that feel totally unsolvable, there is no problem we can't solve. It just takes us all putting our shoulder to the wheel together to get there.
In this conversation, we sort of see people living on the streets as other. We don't see them as being connected to us. And I think for me, just recognizing that we have a deep connection, that people living on the streets are our sisters and brothers. We have a moral responsibility to care for one another.
And I think it's important that we remind ourselves of that, because each individual has their own personal experience. People can and do face mental health challenges, substance misuse challenges, physical ailments, which can all result in an episode of homelessness.
Homelessness can be a temporary experience for anyone, a condition that can be resolved through support and services. By removing the stigmas of homelessness, we can recognize the struggle and risks our neighbors face.
A lot of my friends died because, it was cold. They got frostbite, they lost their fingers. It's really dangerous because you don't know who's going to be sneaking up on you, try to rob you. So it is more dangerous out there than it is being inside.
One story that certainly stays with me is George, who was a gentleman that I met up at 48th in Colorado. He lost his wife and his son in an accident. He had served in the military, and when we talked to him, he never asked for anything for himself. It was always women in the camp he was worried about, wanted to make sure they had sleeping bags, they had tent, they had food, they had space heaters.
I feel like I'm waking up out of a nightmare to a reality of where finally I can get help and be somewhere that helps all of us, just not me.
And George told some of his story. In the middle of it, he starts reciting this poem that he said was a favorite of his. He probably goes through 15 stanzas of a poem from memory. And it is the poem he wrote for his wife and son's funeral about what it was like to face loss and try to keep going. And we got to be there the day that we moved him out of that tent and into transitional housing.
In just 6 months, Denver established 10 temporary shelters and moved 1,123 individuals out of camps across the city. In December alone, not a single person experiencing homelessness lost their life on the streets of Denver. Once folks are indoors, personalized wraparound services are provided to increase the chances of success outside of the shelter system and in permanent housing.
It's just a matter of having support and I think the right connections, and then anything is possible.
It really starts with like, hey, do you have your essential documents? All of the necessities in order to start to even apply for housing.
Because I know that the wraparound services are here. I'm just going to be in it to win it.
So I'm hoping to get myself back on my feet, start working again, and be the person that I was before that I became homeless, because I never pictured myself seeing me on the other side of the fence, as we call it.
I want to give back because I feel valued. And that's where the stability comes in, because when I feel valued, I feel accepted. Now I'm encouraged. I want to go out. I want to get that job. Thank you.
This effort is a result of Denver City Council, the Department of Housing Stability, 13,000 Denver employees, city partners, service providers, as well as countless volunteers, all dedicated to a single kindness, a belief that this effort of hope was never a handout, but a hand up.
It makes me feel very emotional. It makes me feel very emotional. I really want the homeless population of Denver, the Denverite citizens who are housed under House 1000, to take advantage of this initiative.
We are not at all under the illusion that somehow homelessness is over or that we've won and that we can move on to the next thing. This is just the start. So that's why we will have a big goal to do another 1,000 people this year, because we know the work's not over. There are still folks out on the streets tonight, and we don't want them out there.
The number one thing that people come into contact with is just housing affordability. We find more people ending up on the street and in shelters just due to that.
So we're trying to prevent people from entering homelessness with our rental assistance work that the City Council led on. And so we are staying at it, but now we have the excitement and the momentum and the conviction that we can really beat this thing. If we stay at it, we can find all the Georges and get them into housing and shelter and get them onto permanent housing if we stay committed. So that's what gives me the energy and the spirit, not that we think we're done, but that we know we are rowing in the right direction, and for the first time we're all rowing together.
We both grew up in Denver, and so we have these kind of collective memories, but we never knew each other until like we were much older, like 2010. So it's interesting as we go around Denver to see things that we have, you know, very similar memories or sometimes different perspectives on things.
You know, we ran around in the same group of friends. He was in Boulder, I was in Denver. I was much younger. I knew who he was. He had no idea who I was, but yeah, so you know, we found out we both loved Casa Bonita, and we would go as kids, and you know, just everything, Lakeside, like all the things.
Yeah, Rock Island, and like we really have like these things where we were probably at the same events or same place at the same time, but didn't talk at those things. So that's kind of interesting.
But we do drive around and go, oh, we ate there, or I do. That's where you kissed me for the first time. And so there is a little bit of the cheesy factor of every street corner and park bench reminds us, of us.
Yeah,
so.
because we really do stuff all over town. So we have
Yeah.
memories like literally anywhere we go.
We get so excited when someone comes into town and they're like, what is there to do? We can find something cool almost every night of the week.
We want people to see the things that we like and not just the things that you might see in the newspaper or like you search online and you find some Yelp thing or whatever, it's like our thing is very curated to our taste, obviously. Because we love Denver and like we're always trying to promote like, oh, if there's some art show or some event happening or some burlesque thing that we're going to, we try to get that out and tell people like, oh, you should go to this or come meet us at this, and like trying to help promote the independent events in town.
Denver's got this really vibrant art scene that is under all of the national artists that are coming in. It's been here for decades and decades.
So this is an art show at Cannon Collective, and it's called Dark Heart. And the proprietor, Kim, wanted to do this group show, and it's kind of like the darker side of love and sensuality, and she asked us, as like Denver's power couple, as Westward had coined it, she asked if we would curate this show together. So it's
6 years ago?
I think it was 5 or 6 years ago.
5 or 6 years ago, we've done it every year.
So we really enjoy seeing what people come up with,
Some of the things that are now part of our, love story as a couple are all of the amazing restaurants. I mean, Denver has really turned into a foodie town.
And even just how, Denver's blown up with, as Denver does, like, Denver had the world's largest zombie crawl and like, home brewing or like brew pubs or whatever, like
marijuana.
Denver takes whatever and goes huge with it. Like there's more than one like black metal bar in Denver. Like most cities don't have a black metal bar. So Denver's just a really cool middle space too. It's not East Coast, West Coast. It's always, and even being in a band in Denver, it's like, it's got something about it where it's not the thing, it's like, you're not from LA or New York. So it's just, I've always loved it for that reason.
Get out from in front of your computer, put your feet on the ground, go do something. There's so much to do. Denver Restaurant Week, the First Friday Art Walks, all the museums have special days.
That makes it much less familiar and it's much newer. Even if you lived here your whole life, you gravitate towards the same things. So looking for love in all the wrong places, go to the unknowns.
Yeah. Stop looking for your type. Because, Andrew was one of my best friends. Never did I think that I would end up dating him. And it is by far the best relationship I've ever had in my entire life. Also, we're grown up, so.
Yeah, and you think of dating apps, it's like people are really swiping for their type. There's like, they want to find the perfect person. And it's like, the perfect person is who you relate with, who you get along with, who you grow to love. You're not going to find that, You
find some other stuff, but.
It's not a regular restaurant. I think that it's magical what we're doing for people.
My goal is to have a small place to cook my food and the clients come to enjoy or make caterings.
Comal is a restaurant with great food. When customers come, they have the great experience. The food tastes amazing. And besides being one of the best restaurants, we are also a food incubator. Our program accepts immigrants, refugees from various countries. Right now we have participants from Colombia, Venezuela, El Salvador, Mexico, La India.
Comal is something very special for me because I come in the very no good moment in my life. I was not feel security. I was not believe many things.
So it's a 1 to 3 year program. It's a skills program. We have lessons on Mondays virtually, or we have them at Comal. So those lessons usually are to learn how to do your taxes, maybe marketing for your business. Today was computer skills. We have brought in Bonfire. Bonfire, everybody say hi. They're volunteers. They're gonna help us with our computer class. If necessary, we provide a translator to make sure that everybody is learning what they have to learn. We fit their needs. It's not them fitting our needs. It's making sure that Comal is going to give them the skills that they need to be successful.
I learned many things, because it's like some classes, but they teach us how to build a business with license. That's very important because to reach your goals. Because without that one, it's more difficult because you don't know where you can go. If I not take this class, I didn't know what had to do, And it's better we start to do the correct things.
We're going to just do a review on Google Classroom to make sure that everybody is logged on and you can save your login information on your computers. The ultimate goal that Comal has for the participants is once they graduate from the program, that they're able to have their own food business, that they're successful in that food business. There has been several successful businesses started from Comal, and we're very proud of that. We want to continue with that.
For me, I learned from my mom and my grandma, and Comal helped me to put in how to sell, because they teach us not only come to practice here, because that's the point. They help us to come in and to practice every day, and the thing is like you can really to know what can happen, what you'd expect to happen in the real restaurant. I think it's a very good tool for us.
What does it feel like when you see somebody enjoying the food you made them?
It's good because I think to see the people enjoy that, this made me remember my mom. Oh, this is made me my grandma. And we feel like it's shields for us to receive that kind of compliment.
While they are learning these skills, mastering what they came in here knowing, which is their heritage food, they get to bring those ideas and they expand it and they put it in a menu, and we allow them, the participants, to see their creations on a menu and cook that daily for customers. We don't want to just throw you out there in the world. We want to make sure that when you graduate, you actually are getting the skills that you can from us. We are providing the resources. It's up to them to, if they want to follow through and actually do what we are teaching them, which most of them do.
I appreciate Comal, Alexis. For me, I only had the good memories from here to share and be thankful how they helped me a lot,
There's several ways that people can support Comal, that can support the program, but the main goal is have customers. We offer breakfast now. We are open Monday through Friday. We have catering. We want you to have the best experience at Comal.
Stay elevated by subscribing to the city's YouTube page for these stories and more. And stay tuned to our social media channels for more content. Don't miss our new episodes of Elevating Denver, premiering each month. Thanks for watching, Denver.